So today we're going to talk about a cloud app. And we had an app in past years, but it had many limitations, and we've come up with a new app, and I want to spend a few minutes describing to you how it works, some of the features, and so on. And the nicest thing about this whole thing is that it's completely free. It comes with the equipment built in. So you now have the ability to monitor your fermentation from anywhere in the world, wherever you want. You're on the beach, you're in the car, you're in the office across the street, wherever. You can view the temperature, the punch status, you can control heating, cooling, punch schedule, punch it manually, you can adjust settings like how many punches per day, whether you want to increase the punch pressure, and you can set it up that it gives you a way to view the event log. You can see when punch occurred, was it successful, and you could even set it up that it will send you these logs by email or text as they happen. So if there's some sort of problem, the temperature is too high, it will notify you. So with this change, we've made the Gofermentor NET and Junior into IoT devices. And then if you don't remember that, it means Internet of Things. That they basically are always connected to the internet. And they function through a cloud connection, which is secure, to provide data going back and forth. Now I want to say this up front. We do not do any data collection, we don't do any tracking, and we do no advertising through this. Your connection to the cloud is your concern, and the password that you assign is yours alone. I don't even have access to it. So there is no issue of security, but you can view our privacy policy, which is on the website. Now, some of you don't have Wi-Fi in the location where the winery is, or wherever you're performing using the Gofermentor. So we have the provision to do a Wi-Fi-less operation. You can run the entire machine without a Wi-Fi connection. You have all the functionality, except you cannot do remote monitoring, and you cannot obviously change things from a remote location. So with this change, the smartphone app is now the primary control interface. In the original app, which we brought out last year, we first designed the controller that's in the panel, and we're going to call that the local controller for terminology. And the app was an add-on, so you could control the local controller from the app. And it was quite sexy looking, but it had major limitations. Many people complained that only local Wi-Fi was possible. In other words, you had to be on the same local network. So if you drove away from your winery, then obviously you couldn't connect to it. And that really limited the usefulness. And also, we only had an Android version, because Apple, as you know, is a very difficult company to deal with sometimes. So we decided at the end of last year to completely re-engineer the system. So ACT is a completely new design, and the smartphone app is the primary interface. We want you to interact with the fermenters through the smartphone app. The local panel controller is just a backup. But for those of you who were used to the old controller, it looks exactly the same. All the functionality, graphics, and so on, exactly the same, although the innards are completely different. So you have worldwide cloud connectivity, and I'm happy to say that we have Android and Apple iOS support. The Android is already up on the Play Store. The iOS will be up there in a few days, but it is working, and we have a demo running. So I also want to make you aware that we have a clear upgrade path. We never want to leave our prior clients in the lurch. All your equipment can be upgraded remotely. What you have to do is connect your Gofermentor via Wi-Fi, go to the setup menu, and do the option firmware upgrade. And that will go to the internet and download the latest firmware into your machine. And then you go to our site, download the manual, so you know how to operate the smartphone app, and then download the free app from either the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. And you'll be up and running in a few minutes. So again, what I'm going to do now is the most risky thing of all. We are going to do a live demo. I'm going to go over how to set up the Wi-Fi, how to do certain functions. And by the way, we're back on the beach, so I get my drink back. We're going to go through kind of a quick tutorial as to how to operate the equipment. So here we go. So you're going to see a Gofermentor logo. You click on that, and then you come to this screen, and if you look, if you can see it, I hope you can, there's two options here, log in and create new account. Now, every Gofermentor has to be assigned to an account, and that account owns that Gofermentor. And the idea is that that gives you security that only that account can make changes to the running machine. Now, multiple people can access the same Gofermentor, but they have to use the same account. And the account means an email and a password. So here, if you make a new account, you give it an email that's a valid email. It should be a valid email because it's going to send you notifications to this email. And when you log in the next time, you're going to have to log in with this email and whatever password you've assigned. Now, I said earlier, I don't have any access to your password. I cannot get into your account. If you forget your password, you can go to the option on the login screen, and which is here, and click on Forgot Password. And it will send you an email to that email address that you registered the account on and allow you to make a new password. So here, anyway, I'm going to now log in, and we're going to go into the system and show you how it works. So here we go. And when I go in for the first time, you'll see that it says you don't have any devices connected yet. And click on the button to add a new device, which is down here. Now, if you power your brand new Gofermentor up, it'll come up with this screen now. It says in-app plus add new device, click ready. So when you see this screen, these two are now ready to connect to each other. So I'm going to hit add new device, and I can choose the network that I want the device to be on. I'm going to go to this Netgear network and continue. And now it says click ready, and it's ready over here. So I hit ready, and it'll now give you a thing with devices and have a GoFirm prefix. And that tells you that this device is the one over here. Each one sends a unique ID to help you connect to it. So I'm going to click on that, and now it's going to give you this option, configuring, waiting, final check, and over here you'll see waiting for sync. That means it's kind of connect up, and you are connected. So none of that 3-button Mickey Mouse stuff, trying to get your password in, is just seconds. Now, over here, you can change the name of this device. You can say this is Goferm number 2, Goferment 2, okay? And so you can give each one a unique name here, so you can find them in your winery. Hopefully you'll have 10 or 15 Gofermentors, so you'll need to do this so that you won't find them. Okay, so I do done, and I hit continue, and here I am in the control screen. Okay, so the control screen has several tabs. There's punch, log, temp, settings, aux, and we'll quickly go through all of these. They're very simple. So let's start with the punch screen. The first thing you see up there is a tag name. The tag name is something that I can assign anything I want. I can say batch 12, okay, send. And this will put the same number over here, and it's hard to see, but it's on there, there's the same batch 12. So if you're out in the winery, you know which machine corresponds to what number. And you can put anything you like it, whatever. You have, I think, 12 characters, whatever you want. Okay, then going down, this tells you a type. Now, one thing I should mention, this app is the same whether you have a junior or you have net. So if you had a junior, it would say JR over here. If you have a net machine, it says net. And then it tells you the status. Currently it's ready. The mode is manual, which means that I have to initiate a punch, which I will just do. So I look at punch and it says start. I hit start, and look over here. It started the punch process. It's venting, and as time is going down, you see the same time over here. You see status venting. Right? Now, these are completely independent, but they work together. I can cancel it here, or I can cancel it here. See? I canceled it, canceling, and done. And as soon as it's finished, it'll put me back in the punch and start mode. See that? So I can do the same thing the other way around. Now I can change the mode from manual to auto. I can do it from here, like with the old system, or I can hit here. And look, it went there. Next punch in, 049. Right? And the same thing is shown to you up here. Now I can change the punch schedule by just moving the slider. I can ask for more punches per day. I can ask for less punches per day, and it will automatically update the time, as you can see, for the next punch. Going down, you have the two lights here for vent and the blower. The pressure shows up over here. It tells you the last message as to what happened at 11:12. This is on not daylight saving time. At this date, auto punch was switched on. And these are recorded in the log. See, that's the last entry over there, auto punch on. And you can see all the different logs items that were done in the last, I think it stores 20 log items. And then you go back to punch, you're back on this page. This over here, if you were punching, it would show you the time with the bar when the punch occurred. So you can actually see the punches, when they happened, how long they lasted. So this is a basic operating screen. I'm going to put this back in manual so it doesn't turn off by itself. And then I can go to the next. I showed you log already. So we're going to go to the temp tab. And the temp tab is a temperature control system. And you can see over here, you have a set point. You can see whether it's set to cooling. It's right now switched on and the valve is open. If I were to turn it off, it will basically shut the valve off and it's no longer cooling. I can change the set point by this little plus and minus key over here. So I can set a new set point. When this thing is running for several hours, it'll give you a graph, and you can actually go to that graph and export the data to Excel. So you can actually download data into your Excel spreadsheet and see the temperature over time, exactly what happened there. And you know, for many of us who are metrically challenged, it's always been an issue of how to go to degree C and degree F, and it was a little complicated in the old system. But here, all you do is click on that, and now you're in C. And it changed the actual measurement, and it changed the set point to match. I can go back to Fahrenheit, and there you go. And you got a nice little graph over here. Very nice. So now you notice that we had set this thing to cooling, right? You can also use the system to heat. If you had hot water, you could use it to heat up, say, refrigerated grapes. If you go down to the settings page, you have these heat settings down here. You can disable it, which means that there will be nothing going on. You can see over here, disable. Or you can set it to cool. And you can see over here, it says cooling, or you can set it to heat. And we go back here, you'll see now it says heating. And now, of course, it works in the reverse direction. And it's happening over here too. Watch this screen for a second. You see it says heat? Now I'm going to go to settings, and I'm going to make it cool. And look, it goes to cool. So these two work exactly in tandem. And if you don't have Wi-Fi, you can do everything from here. It's not as exciting, but you can do it from there. Then the last tab is really the aux tab. And this is to do with the notifications. So in this aux tab, you can have notifications off, which means you don't want to be notified. You can say, I want email notifications, and you can have text notifications. So they're mutually exclusive, off, email, text. Now, it will send it to your logged-in email address if you don't give it a different address here. So if you give it some other email address, it'll send it here. Otherwise, it'll go to the one you use for your login. Now you can also set a phone number up, and it will send a text message if you chose the text option. And here you have to select the carrier. So either AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, whatever you have, you hit OK. Oops. And then go over here and select your phone number. Just punch it in, right? So it's very simple to set up a system to notify you when something is not going right or something is a problem. And you have it. And by the way, whatever goes out in notification is whatever's in the log. So right now, you see the log says TCON on. Somebody turned the temperature control on. That would have gone out on that notification notice. Now, the same app is available on Apple. And I'm going to take an iPad out here just to prove to you that I'll actually move this one out of the way. And I'll put the iPad down here. And you can see that it looks very similar. Let's go back. These are actually running fermenters in the winery, currently running, right? And so here you can see, for example, 6 hour, 8 hour, this temperature data. See that? Going across. You can look at the punch. The Apple app is similar. It's a little cropped down for whatever reason, but it's basically the same operation. Now the other thing I want to show you is if you go to this key section here, you can see what's currently running, what's connected. Okay? Each one has a little tile. So these two are running and connected, and these two are currently offline. So I can go over here and say, okay, this one, I want to go to CapStab over here. Now notice it's manual. If I were to turn this to auto, and I go back to that front screen, look, it shows you the status here. So right in the beginning, in the front, you can see everything that's running, what's in auto punch, what is going on with each system, right? And this goes on to as many machines as you have running. Now, this other thing I want to show you is this is called a hamburger, because it looks like 3 vertical bars, maybe hard to see. But you go in here, it tells you what's happening over here. It tells you who's been online, who's offline. You can add new devices from here. You can edit something here. You can change this, you can get rid of it, right? So this is how you can do management of your Gofermentor system through the entire winery. Okay? And Junior is exactly the same way. It looks exactly the same. We can go back real quick and look at Junior. Oh, sorry, this is offline, so I can't look at it right now. See? Live. It's all live, right? Anyway, so this is how the new app works. It's super simple. It's really kind of fun to go around and do all the fermenters in one shot. You only need this as a backup. The only caveat is that you cannot press from the app. You have to press, you have to go here and switch it to press, and then do it from this local controller. And that's a safety issue, because to do a press, you have to remove the event, you have to put in the press tube, you have to make sure all your harvest pump is connected. And this is not something you want to initiate sitting on the beach, initiate by mistake. And you come back and you find all your wines on the floor. So this press function has to be done locally. So that's my quick take on our new app. Thanks for watching. You're free to text any questions you like, any comments. We will be sending out a notice to all existing customers with instructions on how to update their firmware, how to download the app. It's quite straightforward. And of course, Thomas is here on tech support for any questions or any problems you might experience. As usual, there's always some issues with apps, when they first come out, and minor bugs. But we've spent a lot of time testing, and we've shown that you can upgrade all the existing versions of the machine. And there are a couple of questions. Question was, is there a desktop app? No. These kinds of cloud apps have kind of left the desktop behind. They really are designed to be connected to the cloud to a smartphone. And by smartphone, I mean a tablet or a phone. But I think the days of the desktop as a control system are numbered. Besides, if you're going to be able to look at this from anywhere in the world, you're not going to take your desktop with you, right? But you're going to have your phone. So, the information content on the screen is not that large, so it's easy to see it. I think there will be no desktop though.